Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into why one simple post, one quiet beach moment, and one location have suddenly turned into a much bigger conversation surrounding Katie Clark and her life right now. What looked like a peaceful update at first has slowly raised more questions than answers, especially as people begin to notice subtle shifts in her content, her tone, and the way her story is being shared. In this video, we're going to break down what's changed, why these updates feel different, and how small details are now being interpreted in ways they never were before. Because right now, it's not just about what's being posted, but how people are starting to read into it. Let's take a closer look at what people are seeing, what it might actually mean, and why this story feels far from simple right now. In recent weeks, Katie Clark has found herself right back at the center of public attention, not because of one clear headline moment, but because of a series of small updates that have slowly built into something much bigger. What once looked like simple, everyday social media content has started to feel layered, almost like each post carries more weight than it used to. This shift did not happen overnight. It has been building over time through subtle changes in her content, her dynamic with Travis Clark, and the overall tone of what she chooses to share. Followers are no longer just watching. They are observing, comparing, and trying to piece together a story that has not been directly explained. That is exactly where things start to get interesting. One of the biggest turning points came from a seemingly harmless Instagram post that, on the surface, felt light and casual. The caption read, "Florida Randoms," which gave no real indication that anything deeper was happening. At first glance, the post looked like a typical photo dump filled with everyday moments. There were snapshots of time with her kids, soft and cozy scenes at home, and relaxed outdoor moments that felt calm and aesthetically pleasing. Everything about it suggested a peaceful phase of life, one that felt grounded and even a little idyllic. But the simplicity of the post is what made people look closer. When nothing is clearly explained, people tend to fill in the gaps themselves. That is where one specific slide completely changed the tone. In the middle of those soft visuals was a quote that read, "Healing is a journey. Be gentle with yourself." That single line shifted how many people interpreted everything else in the post. What once felt like a collection of random memories suddenly seemed intentional. The word healing carries emotional weight, and without any added context, it opened the door to multiple interpretations. Some saw it as a personal reflection. Others connected it to something deeper happening behind the scenes. Either way, it became the emotional center of the entire post, turning something simple into something that felt meaningful and possibly coded. This reaction did not come out of nowhere. Over the past few months, many followers have already noticed that something feels different about Katie's content. There has been a visible shift in tone compared to her earlier posts, which once leaned heavily into cheerful newlywed energy and consistent couple moments. More recently, Travis has appeared less frequently in certain updates, while Florida has shown up again and again as a backdrop. These changes may seem subtle on their own, but together they have created a sense that something is evolving. Because of that, every new post is no longer taken at face value. Instead, it is examined for what it might be hinting at beneath the surface. That shift in perception became even more obvious when Travis shared a simple Instagram story from the beach. The image itself was calm and visually beautiful. A white SUV sat parked on the sand at sunset, its back hatch open, with Katie sitting inside holding one of the children. The golden light created a soft and peaceful atmosphere that felt almost cinematic. There was no long caption, no emotional explanation, and nothing that directly suggested a deeper message. It looked like a quiet family moment. But because the story came from Travis, the reaction was not as straightforward as the image itself. This is where things start to split. Some people saw the moment exactly as it appeared, a family enjoying time together by the ocean. Others immediately viewed it through a more critical lens. The same image began to carry different meanings depending on who was looking at it. For some, it represented togetherness and calm. For others, it raised questions about authenticity, timing, and intention. This contrast shows just how much the audience mindset has shifted. Once trust begins to weaken, Even the most ordinary moments can start to feel layered. The attention to detail did not stop there. Katie's appearance in recent posts has also become part of the conversation. Some observers pointed out that her makeup looks slightly different than before, with more defined contour, darker tones, and a more polished overall style. For many, that is simply a natural evolution in personal style. But for others, it is seen as a reflection of something deeper, possibly tied to confidence, change, or emotional processing. This is where visual presentation starts to move beyond aesthetics and becomes part of a larger narrative that people are trying to understand. Even smaller details, like jewelry, have started to draw attention. In one image, there appears to be a ring that some believe may not have been there before. Without any confirmation, this remains speculation, but it still adds another layer to the conversation. It highlights how, in moments like this, nothing feels too small to analyze. Every visible element becomes a potential clue, whether it actually holds meaning or not. That is the nature of public attention when curiosity turns into active interpretation. As the conversation continues to evolve, the focus has expanded into a much bigger question about Florida itself. What initially seemed like a temporary stay has led many to wonder whether this is something more permanent. Is it simply an extended getaway, or the beginning of a new chapter entirely? Without clear answers, multiple theories have emerged. Some believe it could be a fresh start in a new environment. Others think it may be a way to create distance from past experiences. There are also those who consider practical factors like work opportunities or lifestyle changes. Each possibility adds another dimension to the overall narrative. At the same time, there is a more balanced perspective that suggests this may not be a permanent move at all. Instead, it could be a trial period, a way to see if a different setting brings positive change before making any long-term decisions. This idea resonates with people who see the situation as complex rather than black and white. It allows space for uncertainty without forcing a conclusion too quickly. Still, without direct clarification, everything remains open to interpretation, which keeps the conversation going. What makes all of this so compelling is not just what may or may not be happening, but how it is being perceived. The same post can feel completely different depending on who is viewing it. A quote like, "Healing is a journey. Be gentle with yourself," can be deeply personal or quietly suggestive. Florida can be seen as a vacation spot or a symbol of change. In today's digital space, the line between reality and interpretation is thinner than ever. In the end, this story is not only about Katie and Travis. It is also about how audiences engage with public lives in a time where every detail is visible but not always explained. When curiosity replaces casual viewing, every post becomes something to decode. Maybe everything being shared is exactly what it looks like, a family living through a season of life and documenting it along the way. Or maybe there are layers that have yet to be fully understood. Either way, one thing is clear. People are no longer just watching. They are trying to figure out what it all really means. So in the end, what makes this story so interesting isn't just the posts themselves, but how differently they can be seen depending on who's watching. One person sees a calm family moment, while someone else sees something deeper, something unresolved, or even something being carefully presented. And right now, that gap between what's shown and what's believed is exactly what keeps this conversation going. Whether this is simply a season of normal life, a quiet reset, or the beginning of something bigger, the truth is we're all looking at the same moments but walking away with completely different conclusions. And maybe that's the real story here. Now we want to hear from you. Do you see this as a genuine glimpse into Katie's life right now? Or do you think there's more behind these updates than what meets the eye? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We read everything. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update.